Hey guys, this is Tom Box, and it's Rogue Wednesday, and today we're talking about post-terminal revenge Yubel. Why is it Rogue Wednesday? I mean, someone's probably already typing in the comment section, it's not a rogue deck. It kinda isn't. I mean, once we put Fiendsmith in here, then it's obviously not a rogue deck. But for now, I think Snake Eye is just overly dominant, and that's why it's there. But nonetheless, that doesn't make this deck any weaker. I'm gonna be mainly showcasing to you guys some of the combos and explaining each of the parts so you can learn the combo, understand it, and if you're gonna be playing it, understand why you're doing it, and if you're gonna be playing against it, learn how to counter it. Essentially that. Anyways, I'm giving you guys my line of Samsara Lotus that still ends on Appaloosa. You still have a copy of Unchained Soul of Rage, and you have Verudras, all coming from one card. Okay, it's Samsara Lotus, no Nightmare Throne required. I'm giving you that combo for free. I just labbed it out apparently, and I'm actually recording this intro after I did all the combos, so it's easier for me to kind of get the context. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell, and don't forget to check out MSTmerch.com. All right. Anyways, let's get into the combo first before we get into the deck list. Kicking off the combo, we got the one card combo. Now, the one card combo should be a starting point. I don't want you guys to think that, oh, it should be completely linear. Yes, this particular one as a one carder, sure, it's linear. But if you have a diverse hand, you should be able to pivot your hand into building the board regardless of just having a Nightmare Throne, okay? That's my, first sell point on this. So activate the Nightmare Throne, and I want you guys to be smart about this. We're gonna add the Samsara Lotus. If you've managed to break the board and this is the last card available, this is fantastic. Normal summon out the Samsara Lotus. Activate the Samsara Lotus effect to summon out the Spirit of Yubel from the deck. Spirit of Yubel on summon. We're gonna place a Nightmare Pain onto the field. Activate the Nightmare Pain. Activate Nightmare Pain's effect. We're gonna destroy the Spirit of Yubel to add a Gruesome Grave Squirmer into hand. This is gonna cause Chainlink 1, Spirit of Yubel, Chainlink 2, Nightmare Throne, because we want the Yubel on the field as that leads to other monsters. So Chainlink 2, we're going to add to our hand the Terra Incarnate from wherever it can be, all right, and then we're going to summon it ignoring summoning conditions, so that's gonna come here. Then we're going to resolve the Spirit of Yubel, summoning out a regular Yubel, and this is the additional card that we just added to our hand. Let's put it right here. Next, we're going to link summon into the Unchained Soul of Lord Yama, and that's going to activate, and that's going to give us the Shavara into our hand. Since that we have a Fiend monster on the field, we're going to special summon out the Gruesome Grave Squirmer onto the field using its effect, and we're going to link this off. And this is the part where Cross Sheep kind of comes into the mix. Yes, Cross Sheep, or rather Lord Yama, could have been hit by a nib, but there are ways to pivot, and you know what? That's going to be part 2 of this particular combo. But for now, we got to the Cross Sheep. What now? So you don't really have much to do here. Well, you put back both the Yubel and the Yubel Terra Incarnate back into the deck. All right, I'm just gonna put it right here for now, and we're gonna summon out the Phantom of Yubel. Phantom of Yubel now can eat up one of your opponent's hand traps, but you summon it under a Cross Sheep arrow, which is gonna trigger the Cross Sheep to summon back the Samsara Lotus. Now, because we have Grave Squirmer in the graveyard, we're going to banish it, and we're going to attempt to summon back the Spirit of Yubel back onto the field, which then allows us to activate our Shavara. Shavara is going to attempt to destroy the Spirit of Yubel, summoning itself onto the field. This is going to trigger Spirit of Yubel, and also the Unchained Soul of Lord Yama. We're going to banish this. We're going to summon back the Spirit of Yubel, and then we're also going to summon back the Yubel we put back. So here we go, we're back onto the field. Now, under the lock of Shavar, we're gonna be locked into Fiends at this particular point. So what I'm gonna choose to do here is we're gonna link away the Cross Sheep and the Unchained Soul of Shavara, and we're gonna summon the Unchained Soul of Rage. Shavara effect will activate. That's gonna give us the Unchained Trap card that you would want. It could be this or Escape, whichever one that's more useful for whatever meta purposes. And we're gonna go with the Abomination, so we can revive one of the Unchained cards. And then we can take the 2 Yubel monsters here and overlay them into Verudras. So if you look at the current board, it seems pretty simple. You have one way to kind of just link off your opponent's cards into an SP Little Knight, which is fine. We have Monster Effect Negation, or rather Monster Effect Substitution, which is crazy because it's really, really good. And then we also have the Verudras for the Omni Negate. But what's this Samsara Lotus doing here? Sure, you can destroy the Phantom Yubel, but that's not the point. So if you manage to successfully use the Phantom Yubel, say we do proceed to the opponent's turn, this gets destroyed. All right, we're going to attempt to destroy a Spirit of Yubel from the deck. And that's going to allow us to summon the second Yubel, which is why I currently am trying out a second copy of Yubel, just so that this is going to keep the Samsara D Lotus live, and your opponent still has to swing into terrible monsters at the end of the day. And from here, we still have the Omni Negate. We can change the effect one more time to destroy this Yubel, and when this Yubel gets destroyed, we summon out Big Boy Yubel, or rather Big Girl Yubel, right here, Monster Yubel. And this leads to this particular board where they're still forced to swing into this monster, and you still have the Omni Negate, and you still have the SP play. So overall, not too bad. And if this gets removed off of the field, then guess what? Since you can't go up because my deck list does not run the Ultimate Nightmare, we can go back down. We can go back down into the Yubel, and then we can keep playing this little loopy game because we can add to your hand and then we can special summon back onto the field. That's the silliness, because we can go up or down based off of Nightmare Throne. And that's why this board is really annoying, and this, considering that all this came out from one card, it does get pretty nasty. Okay, so what if you run into Nibiru, this pesky giant rock? Well, this is a deck that mostly can ignore it. I don't know if people would be siding against it. You need to pair this with a different hand trap, otherwise it just doesn't really work. It sucks, and your opponent is just going to build the board right through it. So starting off with the Nightmare Throne, alright, we're going to counter our summons here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the Samsara D Lotus. Normal summon number 1, activate the effect. We're going to get Spirit of Yubel, summon number 2, and we're going to get Nightmare Pain to hand, activate Nightmare Pain, and we're going to destroy the Spirit of Yubel for Nightmare Pain's effect. And we are going to add to our hand Grave Squirmer, and summon number 3 is going to be the Chainlink 2 from the Terror Incarnate, and that's going to add to hand summon. That's 3, and then now we're going to get the Spirit of Yubel summon, which is a regular Yubel, summon number 4. So up until this point, Nibiru can't be dropped, and most people are just going to link these two off into a Lord Yama, because this loaded into the graveyard is good. And yes, you can nib right here, but I can tell you right now, nibbing at this particular point is really, really bad. Like, if you want me to give you a quick demo here, first of all, let's resolve this, add the Shavara. And I think if you negate this and nib, it's pretty strong for the most part, because they can't do a Shavara follow-up, but they still have Grave Squirmer. Anyways, if you do somehow nib here, what's likely going to happen is you're going to give them that token. They're just going to take these two monsters and put the Phantom of Yubel onto the field. Alright, these are going to go back into the deck. And so they can just summon a Grave Squirmer, and they can turn these two into a Cross Sheep, and use Grave Squirmer's effect, summon into the arrow, give the Samsara D Lotus back, and then use Grave Squirmer. You can see where that is going to go crazy immediately from that point. You're going to get all the monsters back, this is going to get linked off, and they're going to have a full combo anyway, and now they don't have to worry about nib. So let's rewind a little bit back to this point of Lord Yama, so we're not going into like an immediate Nibiru. We're going to go into Cross Sheep first. We're going to activate Gruesome Grave Squirmer, we're going to summon this card onto the field, and we're going to proceed to link these two monsters off into the Cross Sheep. So that was still part of the combo. You can drop a nib here, which is pretty strong, because if you wait any longer, likely what's going to happen is the Phantom of Yubel is coming out on the board, and this Nibiru is going to be quite useless, I would say, and it's kind of hard to stop. Let's just say that. So anyways, we're going to hit it right here. We're going to get rid of the Cross Sheep, and we give him the token. All right, it's a pretty weak token. So what do we do here? Well, we're gonna have to put out a Fiend monster onto the field at some point, but we loaded our graveyard with 2 summons, right? We have ourselves the Unchained Soul of Lord Yama, and we have a Gruesome Grave Squirmer. So starting off with the regular Yubel plays, we're gonna put 2 of them back, and we're gonna summon out the Phantom of Yubel. Alright, Phantom of Yubel's on board. They summon to the middle if they're smart, because it really gets a little bit cloggy here if we want to do, you know, corner arrows. And from this point, we can activate our Gruesome Grave Squirmer, and we can summon the Spirit of Yubel back onto the field. Now we can use Shavara's effect. We're going to destroy the Spirit of Yubel, and we're going to summon out our Shavara, and that's going to trigger the Spirit of Yubel as well as the Lord Yama. So we're going to go Chainlink 1 Spirit of Yubel, Chainlink 2 Lord Yama, or it could be, I think the other way actually might be better. Chainlink 1 Lord Yama, Chainlink 2 Spirit of Yubel. So this way we summon out the Yubel from the deck, and we can even summon out, we're going to banish this of course, and we're going to summon back the Spirit of Yubel. And you can destroy the Spirit of Yubel, so you can summon out the other Yubel from the deck, so you get less bricks. So you have a lot of Yubels on the board. You have the token, you have a choice. You can either go for the Link 2, the Unchained Soul of Rage, and just leave the Nibiru token so that you can do a quick link off, or you can just link it off right away. It's up to you how you want to play this out, depending on what's a better board for you. But essentially, this needs to be linked off, and this token has to go. So we're getting rid of the token. I believe we can get rid of the token. His effect monsters. This one doesn't care about effect monsters, so these two has to go. And we go into the Unchained Soul of Rage, and you can just overlay these two, right? But first, Unchained Shavara, get ourselves the trap card, and you can take these two and convert them into Varudris, and that gives you a decent end board. Not the best, but at least you have some answers. But in the case that you don't want to use Varudris and you're okay with that, what you can do is you just keep on climbing. You climb up into Unchained Soul of Anguish, link away your opponent's monster, go into the big Unchained. Now note that you already got the trap card from the Shavara, so you can summon this card back onto the field and still make an SP on your opponent's board. And during the end phase, you get to summon back your Samsara Lotus. That's likely going to get tributed off because it's not very useful in this particular instance, but at least you get to keep the Yubel and forcing the attack redirection to still happen. So what makes Yubel super nasty is that you're not always playing one card combos. The 2-card combo variants are much stronger, much like Chimera. You'd rather play the 2-card combos rather than the single one because the choke points are just a lot worse, right? So in the case of 2-card combo, start off with the Dark Beckoning Beast. Get yourself the additional ways to summon from graveyard first, all right? And if you do get harmed by something, you can link this off into Almirage to make sure that you can maybe find a follow-up play so that you can keep on going. But in any case, get the opening of the Spirit Gate. So at this point, activate it, grab yourself another Dark Beckoning Beast. Then you can play the Nightmare Throne. If it's a safe landing, get yourself the Samsara Lotus. Dark Beckoning Beast effect giving the additional normal. Go ahead and just use the effect. Effect to summon out Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel effect getting the Nightmare Pain into hand, activating this card, and we are in business. So we can get ourselves additional special summons if we need to. If you want to play it safe and leave the Samsara Lotus, that's up to you. But we're going to go Nightmare Pain, attempt to destroy Spirit of Yubel. And that's going to summon out, or rather add to our hand, the Grave Squirmer, right? And this is going to trigger Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. This is going to summon out our big Terror Incarnate and summon out the regular Yubel. Like, we are really loaded for this particular play. Now we can leave the Yubel on the field, take the Terror Incarnate, we're going to link these two off into Lord Yama. Effect of Lord Yama, get the Shavara. Our hand is completely loaded to continue play. And you can just immediately just go into Cross Sheep if you need to, or you can just drop the additional body if you want. But if you just make Cross Sheep right here, why not? I don't see why you wouldn't make Cross Sheep here. You can make Cross Sheep from here. We can activate the opening of the Spirit Gates. We're going to toss into the graveyard the Dark Beckoning Beast, summoning back the Spirit of Yubel. And we can use these two, put it back, and summon out the Phantom of Yubel. Using that effect, we're going to summon out the Samsara Lotus, loading our board completely, and we haven't even used the 2 cards in our hands from the Unchained Soul of Shavara or the Grave Squirmer. Activate Grave Squirmer, get yourself the free special summon. And the Samsara Lotus is, like, it's nice, but it's kind of unnecessary for the most part. And we do want to destroy the Spirit of Yubel later on, so we can take these 3. And we're just going to put an Appaloosa onto the field. So we have Appaloosa. Activate the Unchained Soul of Shavara. We're going to destroy the Spirit of Yubel, summon back the Shavara onto the field. We're going to activate the effect of Unchained Soul Lord of Yama. I guess it's not really necessary, to be honest. There are ways for you to generate more and more monsters, but we're going to activate this and the Spirit of Yubel, and we're going to summon back the Spirit of Yubel, and this is also going to summon a regular Yubel onto the field, right? And we still have Gruesome Grave Squirmer, so we're going to proceed to link these 2 off. And that's going to give us the Unchained Soul of Rage. And now we can get the effect of Shavara, getting ourselves the Abominable Chamber. We're going to activate the Gruesome Grave Squirmer, summon back the Spirit of Yubel, overlay these 2. And therefore, now we have even more stuff for the opponent to deal with, which includes the Omni Negate, 3 monster negates, monster effect change, link off, controlling of the phases, end phase. Do I have a continuous spell to add back? I do not. That's fine. And we also have the revival of the Unchained Soul of Rage if we do want to clear it off of the field. So if this gets destroyed, that's fine, because when you destroy this, we summon out a regular Yubel back onto the field. So Nightmare Pain, your battle phase is protected, and that's kind of the whole point. The Appaloosa cannot be touched, and that's like a pretty big part of it. Okay, so we talk about Nightmare Throne all the time, but what about just Samsara D Lotus? Can Samsara D Lotus generate a crazy board on its own? I mean, we're labbing it out right now because this is something I'm not very familiar with. I mean, all I see online are like, oh, Nightmare Throne combo, Nightmare Throne combo. Well, you're going to need to be able to play just Samsara D Lotus too. So we're going to summon out Samsara D Lotus and we're going to work the line out together, all right? Activate the effect, and that's going to be Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel, get Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain, activate, destroy the Spirit of Yubel. I mean, that part is very linear, so anything that's pretty linear, we're going to do just fine. Add the Grave Squirmer to hand. That's going to summon out from Yubel, so we're going to get the Yubel summon. Activate the Grave Squirmer effect to summon, and we're going to use the effect to destroy the Yubel. I think I need to load the graveyard with material here. I think we're running a really tight ship. So that's going to summon out Big Terror Incarnate, and I'm just going to link these two off into either Yama or Cross Sheep. I mean, I can already summon the dude, or rather the Phantom. So I'll go with Cross Sheep first. Okay, Cross Sheep. From Cross Sheep here, is there any activations here? I don't think there is. I'm going to summon out my Phantom of Yubel. All right. And that's going to require me to put back some cards. At least I can get back the Terror Incarnate, and I can still leave a pretty full graveyard. So these two are going back into the deck. And let's get summoned. Cross Sheep effect. We're going to summon back the Samsara D Lotus, leaving this in the grave as I guess a decent follow-up, I suppose. I think I want to go into Yama to destroy a card, so I have to leave these two. So let's go into Yama with these two, like with Samsara D and the Phantom of Yubel. Alright. And from there, we get ourselves the Lord Yama effect. We're going to get ourselves the Shavara. And then we're going to link off these two. And we're going to summon ourselves into an Appaloosa. Alright, we got Appaloosa on board. We have stuff to summon. I think I'm going to activate the Grave Squirmer at this part of the combo. We're going to activate Grave Squirmer to summon back the Spirit of the Yubel. I think this is the right play. Let me just check the extra deck for a second. So extra deck wise, I think I still have the Phantom of Yubel, a second copy of Phantom of Yubel. So based on that, I am going to activate Shavara. Okay, Shavara effect, we're going to destroy the Spirit of Yubel to summon out the Shavara. We're going to activate the Spirit of Yubel, and we're going to activate the Lord Yama, summon it back. I think chain link wise, I'm going to go chain link 1 Yama, chain link 2 Spirit of Yubel. So Spirit of Yubel, this gets banished. Spirit of Yubel is going to summon out a Yubel. Lord Yama is going to summon out a Yubel. However, I'm also going to use the effect to destroy this Yubel. I think I'm just doing it so I can load the grave with 2 materials. I can keep these 2 in the graveyard, right? And if I can keep those 2 in the graveyard, I automatically have another like Yubel to summon. So right now, I'm destroying this. This is going to activate. I'm going to summon out second copy of Yubel, which is why I'm playing 2 copies. If you don't play 2 copies, you don't have to do this particular line. You just have to make a little choice here. But right now, I'm really greedy. And so I got this 2 Yubels. And I have Shavara on board, so I'm a little stuck. So I have to put these 2 back right now. Alright, these 2 are going to go back into the deck. And that's going to allow me to summon out, another copy of Phantom of Yubel. And we can take these 2. The 2 Fiends go into a Rage. Oh, and I don't even have to make a choice. I can have that all by going into Varudras with the remaining 2 Yubels. There, that's actually not too bad. If this is from 1 Samsara D Lotus, this is not bad. If you want to keep Yubels on the field, that means you don't have to use a second copy of your Phantom of Yubel. Alright, so that's another option where if you just have the 2 Yubel monsters, keep the Spirit of the Yubel on board. You don't have to overlay, just make a Soul of Rage, and then, of course, when we make the Soul of Rage, there's actually one more thing. We have to add this to our hand too. So this is the actual end board. So we actually have a decent amount of interaction from 1 Samsara D Lotus. Actually, that's kind of cool. Know your lines, I guess. Before we proceed, I'm dropping an announcement that we got new products that dropped at MST.TV. If you want to bring out your inner fire, we just dropped the Heart Ablaze foil sleeves, and by popular demand, we dropped our second NFT, no, not non-fungible token, the NFT sleeve, not for trade, and yes, we made them for 2 sizes, for standard card sizes, as well as the standard Japanese card size. Now, aside from the new stuff, we also restocked our essentials, our tournament white sleeves. Just listen to that smooth shuffling. All our Carbon Series sleeves feel like the old PC that you know and love, that nostalgic, smooth feel. And we also offer even more protection for your expensive foil sleeves via our over sleeves. Sorting your collection has never been easier with our box dividers and subdividers. And we also believe on expressing your inner energy with our premium foil sleeves. You know, the fire sleeves, of course, we have the Alti Ego, Alti Instinct. These are, you know, cemented as some of the best sleeves on the market. Even your binder slots can be personalized. Next time someone tries to pull out a card that you're trying to keep, point to the sleeve and be like, hey, admire only. So check us out at MSTmerch.com, MSTmerch.com. So here's the quick deck list. We have 2 copies of Yubel and 1 Terra Incarnate. The reason why we play a second copy of Yubel is so that when you do destroy a Spirit of Yubel from the deck, you have another copy to summon out, especially if you have a Rudras overlaying one of your Yubels and you haven't used the effect to negate yet. So that is just the flexibility of not having, you know, contingencies and reliability on certain cards. And you can, I think it can even help you combo off a little bit harder with material management. 3 copies of Spirit of Yubel. I think that's nothing to explain there. You should just play because it's really good. It's also a hand trap, remember. It's 3 copies of Samsara D Lotus, your Lone Fire Blossom of the deck. 2 copies of Grave Swimmer. I mean, this is really, really good. You can even play 3 copies if you want. I think it's actually really good. 3 copies of Dark Beckoning Beast, and the last engine-based monster is going to be Unchained Soul of Shivara. That's really it. I think that's it for the monsters. For spell cards, 1 for 1 because you can combo off with the level 1s. Terraforming into the other copies of Nightmare Throne because Nightmare Throne is your best card in the deck. Just solid engine. And then 3 copies of Nightmare Pain. You can start cutting these down if you're playing Fiend Link, because Fiend Link don't require so much. And if you're going to be moving into Fiendsmith, this is the stuff that starts to get cut out, which is kind of interesting. 1 Mature Chronicle to help me extend with the Yubel name. Just the additional body makes a huge difference because we are using Link, playing Fiend Link right now. 3 copies of Opening the Spirit Gates, again, is just extenders and opening play. And I guess we're into the 1 trap card, which is Abominable Chamber. I guess you can play Escape as well. Depending on the format, just adapt your Unchained Trap, okay? And for hand traps, I guess we have Triple Infinite Impermanence. I mean, just play based off of what the meta is, really, to be honest. 2 Nibiru, 2 Ghost Ogre, because I want to destroy cards again. I'm keeping it at a simple 40, but you can readjust your ratios. 2 Ghost Mourners, I guess they could also be Veilers, really. And then 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Yeah, and that's the entire main deck. Extra deck starting off with the 2 copies of Phantom of Yubels. I mean, you're going to be able to use both quite easily. It's not once per turn on the summon anyway. And then we have some of the essentials. Let's go over the essentials. We have 1 Salamangreat Almirage. In case you do get hit by Imperm, you need to load your graveyard for opening of the Spirit Gates. That's why it's there. One of the key starters, we have Unchained Soul, Lord of Yama, and we have to play Cross Sheep. These are some of your starting plays of your Link 2s. Cross Sheep especially easy with Phantom of Yubel generating a free body for you. Then we have Muckraker, or Muckraker, and we have SP, Little Knight, and I guess the other monster has to be the Unchained Soul of Rage. Alright, these are your Link 2s. Moving on, higher links, we have 1 copy of Anguish, 1 Abomination. Just in case you get hit by Nibiru, this is one of your options that you can actually climb from Anguish to Abomination. Of course, we have Appaloosa because it's very easy to make, and we have 1 Access Code Talker to close out games. And for our Xyz, we have Zeus, Typhon, and Varudris. That's it. That's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. Hit the subscribe, ding that notification bell if you guys don't want to miss out on future videos. And I know there's one video that you guys are definitely waiting for, which is the opening of the next set. We're waiting on that as well, okay? Because there's a lot of info that we need for that, especially when you're going to go into WCQ&A. Yeah, well, make sure you guys subscribe for that at the very least. And check out MST.TV. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.